Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sean Gardner. It is an honor to be with you today talking about social selling tips. Really, I want to say a big thank you to the Direct Marketing Association of India for inviting me. And it is an honor to represent TwinStar. TwinStar is not only one of the biggest and most respected and award winning credit unions in the United States, but it's also one of the biggest in the Western Hemisphere and throughout much of the world. So it is an honor to represent them here today. As we talk about social selling, what it is, I think you'd have to really honestly go back to, in many ways, the overall digital picture, if you will. The digital picture right now has it where you have 3.5 billion people. That's 3.5 billion people in the world using the internet that are internet users. That is awesome. Whenever I think about those kinds of numbers, when I see them grow like that, I think about all of the possibilities. I mean, the great possibilities that are going to be coming our way, certainly India's way, and just really they're going to be popping up around the world when we have 80, 85, 90, 95% of the world's population online, learning from each other, forging new alliances, that kind of thing. So that's 3.5 billion. And this is according to We Are Social. They do this a big annual report, but they also do a monthly report where they update the numbers to show which regions are showing some growth, which ones are stagnating. And trust me on this, India is far from stagnation. It will continue to grow for decades to come. When you look at the global picture, you have to take that shift towards India. And the shift towards India pretty much indicates that India has 375 million people. This is, of course, as of last month, 375 million people on the internet. And what that means, of course, is that, hey, things are moving pretty briskly and will continue to do that because according to TechCrunch, India will experience, I think, will end up having 500 million internet users at the end of next year. So the possibilities are just seemingly endless for India, certainly with regards to social selling, social business, social media, all things digital right now. India is just the place to be. What is social selling? Social selling is just pretty much the use of social channels to connect with individuals, to do some prospecting, if you will, to try to find people. And once those individuals are found, it's about providing value, consistently providing value, so that once those would-be consumers, customers of yours, want to make the leap, you become that first choice or you become one of the top choices because you have stayed in touch with people and you're providing value. And I think that's really very important for a business to understand. It's not about the hard sale right out the gate. It's about the relationship building. So when you think about just relationships, how would one put together a relationship? Well, one, it is about a formula. It's about finding people. It's certainly about listening. Listening is so key because that's how you get different insights, if you will, about a particular platform, how people use it, what people want. And then you can then go back, integrate that, use that data to go back and perfect your approach to social selling and just your overall product and how it's presented out offline and online. So definitely digital listening and digital observation, if you will, is so very important. And it's about engaging people, asking them questions, getting them to give you some feedback, cultivating those leads, and then ultimately closing the sale, because that's going to come. You're literally engaging people, providing that value, and so those opportunities to make money and to sell products will come. It's just a relationship. So how do you build that relationship? This is very important here. I wrote a post on LinkedIn last year and it was called 25 Powerful Ways Anyone Can Connect with People Online. And these are the kinds of things that I've done personally, and that I've done in at least in the in my role as a social media manager or social media producer now. Um, Four things really stick out. Okay, number one, it's important to use empowering language. Me, myself, and I is not going to work. You have to say, or at least certainly end with, or get the consumer to believe that it's we, us, and our. It's not a business oriented world, it is a consumer oriented world. Consumers have to understand that. And if you can make the consumer understand that, you're just in a really great position as a business. The next thing, of course, that you want to do is you want to create social media events around Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp, or whatever type of platform you're on. Give people a sense of who you are offline as well. Lots of businesses are doing this because it's getting them an idea, getting them an opportunity to see their customers up front, to see them offline, to get a chance to just read them and get to know them. Events are powerful, and events are a really great way of just building that connection. The other thing, of course, is to be a problem solver. Producing how-tos or content that solves a problem for consumers. All of us have problems, professional and personal. And when you present yourself as a business that is all about helping the consumer solve their problems, you're in a really great position. That's a great relationship builder. But the big thing is this. I am a firm believer in thinking beyond borders. And I'm not talking about just simply the borders of a country. Certainly, I love to travel. I went to India last year, and I went to 9 countries last year, including India. And I love culture. I love meeting people, connecting with people, talking business, and getting a chance to see how people live and what they think about the world and the United States. But thinking about borders, when I say that, I'm talking about the borders within your particular country. And anyone who lives in a country like, say, the United States, India, it could even be just other countries that have this tremendous diversity. Though that's really an opportunity. That's not a liability, and it's not this insurmountable mountain. That's really the place where you want to be, because that's just, I think, relationships. I think possibility. I think extraordinary possibilities when I see lots of people. I want to introduce myself. I want to let people know who I am, and I want to really make that connection. So I'm looking at a map here of India. Anybody who looks at a map of India is just absolutely floored, because it's so many areas. It's so rich in diversity and ethnic diversity, religious diversity, and that's a lot for a business to really sort of tap into. But that's the point. You don't want just simply a regional business. You want a national business. You want an international business. So with start with just really where you are, your block, your city, and then build out from there. But think big possibilities. And when you think beyond borders, again, the borders of your particular area, the borders of, say, a group that you may represent, you really are putting yourself in the driver's seat. And that's where social selling will help you out, because that's the mindset you have. And social selling is, or at least that tool that can help you overcome what you perhaps may regard as an insurmountable kind of situation. But relationships are built over time. Relationships are all about one interaction and the next interaction. It could be liking something on Facebook, maybe it could even be saying a happy birthday to individuals in your network. It could be saying congratulations to people who might have received a nice promotion on the job on LinkedIn. Hey, they say congratulations. I mean, it doesn't take anything away from you. And as a business person, as an entrepreneur, as someone representing this business in a digital way, it can only enhance you. So the social selling aspect really goes through the roof when you do these kinds of things, saying thank you and engaging people who leave comments on Twitter and Instagram, or liking certain things to really get people's attention and to stay connected. But there are two powerful things here. One, you can use social offers. Social offers are very powerful. It could be the next 100 people who like our post gets, say, I don't know, something free from our, from whatever product that you may have, or maybe say that the first 10 people in the next, say, 10 minutes who say hello to us with the hashtag Go India, or we'll put their name in the running to qualify to go to a particular country that we're connected to, and so forth. So no matter what industry you're in, you can use social offers to just enlarge your presence, and then, and of course, in the process, trying to at least build that connection to people. But the next thing is this, and I think this is where a lot of businesses are not quite doing what they need to do. I don't think businesses really want to encourage the consumer to give feedback. So if the feedback is great, obviously you're going to want that. You're going to want to hear that you're the best business of all time, that everything that you put out is just amazing, and that people think that you are just like the business of the millennium. Who doesn't want to hear that, right? But you're going to have a critic. No matter who you are, no matter who you are as a person or a business, you're going to have people who literally are going to say, I don't like this. And you can learn from constructive criticism. It could be something in that could just say to the team, you know what, we need to tweak this. And when we tweak this for this one person, this may actually enhance the product for 90% of the people who are using it. Or it could be, hey, let's go back to the drawing board, because this is something that we need to really consider, and I think this criticism is valid. Whatever it may be, encourage feedback, respond to feedback, and who knows? I think your product may just totally benefit from that. Your business may benefit from that. Two areas now that I believe are going to be very hot this year, and literally transform social selling. Number one, I think, is digital storytelling. Johnny Walker had a great ad last year, and it was called Dear Brother, and it's my favorite ad, and it has some really great tips, if you will, quite instructive for digital storytelling in terms of how a business can go about reaching the consumer, or at least telling that brand story. Because as we know, once people know what your brand story is, right? Who you are, why you're in business, what's important to you, where you're going. If people know that, and then in the process see themselves somehow a part of your business and can see themselves in your journey, not only will they buy your product, but they're also going to recommend it to a friend, to a family member, to the world. They're going to be excited about your business. They're going to be obsessive about your business. So that's where digital storytelling comes in. And there are literally four aspects of digital storytelling. You have instructive storytelling, or instructional storytelling, persuasive storytelling, historical storytelling, and then also you have the type that's reflective. And this Johnny Walker ad, I think, was quite reflective and even persuasive. I would make the argument for. But the other thing that's really hot to keep your eye on is episodic content. Episodic content is just this. It's just, content that has some continuity, if you will, over like episodes. So, for example, Hootsuite had a really great video series about 3 years ago, and it was called the Hootsuite Social Update. Awesome. It was hosted by a really great Huffington Post blogger. Her name is Sunny Lenarduzzi. And what Sunny did was she put together some great stuff, like it could be just 2 minutes of your time each week. And she was telling the hot stories, the things that really mattered to people, crunching it into 2 minutes. People loved it. It was a complete hit. They don't do it anymore, but I think they got really great traction. In fact, I know they did get great traction from that. Video is just very important, and video can quite literally connect you in a way with your brand that a lot of things can't. But episodic content is not just video. I had a series for the Huffington Post called the Twitter Powerhouses series, and the Twitter Powerhouses series lasted from, it was like 2010 to roughly 2013. And we just had so much fun profiling people who laid the foundation for social media, who we felt laid the foundation for social media, and then people who somehow came along and built on top of that foundation, right? My mother always said to me, it's about honoring the source. That's what I think when I think about India. I think there's so much history, so much just rich history, that is so much history to honor. And so that's so much, if you look at that, that's a lot of material to use for any business. You know, it's like it's tipping your hat to the past, and then using whatever type of principles, like these contemporary principles, to move the country forward. You see? So that's what I think episodic content, that's the type of episodic content that a business in India can use. Something that, builds suspense, if you will, right? This suspense could be like, well, hey, like your business might be into 3D printing, or maybe your business might be using or thinking about drones. Maybe your business might really take this step into the fourth industrial revolution, which is going to truly transform business as we know it internationally. You could be blockchain, which of course is being adopted by a number of financial tech startups. So there's a lot of tech realities and just realities in general that you might be considering, and why not use a sense of like suspense with the customers that you have, the consumers that you have, to let them know, hey, you know, this is something that we're thinking about. So you keep them on the edge of their seat, literally on the edge of their seat, and week after week after week after week, you give them a piece here, a morsel there, and then it's suspense, but there's this eventual conclusion. The other thing, of course, that Hootsuite did was that they pretty much had content around themes and topics, hot topics and hot themes that all of us are talking about right now, and it was just a big hit. So I encourage you guys to look at that, whether the Dear Brother ad from Johnny Walker, which was absolutely powerful, truly one of my favorite digital marketing ads of the last few years, my favorite ad of last year, and then also the Hootsuite social update to give you some really good ideas about episodic content and its possibilities on social selling. But you know, when you look at India and where it is, you just kind of have to say to yourself, okay, what are the reasons that India should be looking at social selling? All right. We know definitely that India will have 500 million people connected to the internet. This is the projection next year. The second thing, of course, here is that, you know, the most attractive market in the world. Now, this is according to EA Attractiveness report, which came out this year. And the World Economic Forum reported this, that India is the most attractive investment right now, the most attractive in terms of countries. It is the most attractive investment over China, over the United States where I live, over any European country, over any African country, Asian country, any country in the world. India is seen as by far the biggest and best investment for business. India has overtaken the United States here, and is now the world's second largest smartphone market, which is quite significant, right? Google is, of course, as you guys know, is placing Wi-Fi in over 400 or roughly 400 stations throughout India. Again, very significant there. And I think the Wi-Fi situation that Google is involved with is quite significant, because guess what? If you are an entrepreneur, you have this entrepreneurial mind, and you don't have Wi-Fi at home, but you have a phone, right? No Wi-Fi, but you have this thirst, this for something better for yourself, for your family, for your community. You could literally go to these stations, right, and operate your startup. You really honestly could. I mean, and put something together that could be the thing that every Indian is talking about. So this is awesome right here. And then also the last thing, of course, is India is going to be the most populous country in the world in roughly 6 to 7 years. This is also a projection by The Economist and by other publications. So everybody knows this is coming, right? Much of this is there already in India, but everybody knows this is coming. And so all of this together, the mobile adoption, the social media savvy aspect, throughout the country, individuals who are connected, and then also just the long-term, short-term, and long-term investment that's pouring into the country. This is a perfect storm for something that is extraordinary, and as digital media continues to play this big part of what businesses are doing, it's important to have this mindset about responding to people, not just finding them, but really responding to them, engaging them, right? Listening to them and observing what's going on online, because social media success has less to do, I would argue, with technology. It has more to do with psychology and sociology, right? It's about studying people and figuring out at least how they interact online, what they share, and then how your business can learn from that and have a place in that. So keep all of that in mind. Social selling is not going anywhere. In fact, that social selling will continue to be a very important part of what's happening in India and throughout the world. But you can become a champion of social selling, and becoming a champion of social selling means you become a champion of the customer experience. I mean, a great customer experience a firm that specializes in great customer experience. That's going to get around. That's not going to just get around your country. That's going to get around the world. And hey, like I said, you don't want to be just a neighborhood business, right? You want, or just simply even a national business. Why not be this regional business that goes into being this international business? So continue to find prospects, continue to work at them, continue to cultivate them, continue to nurture them, listen to what they have to say, and hey, close that deal. So thanks so much for listening to me. I really appreciate everybody, and again, the Digital Marketing Association. Appreciate them for allowing me to talk and present here today. India is India is extraordinary right now. If you look at what's extraordinary right now, and you look at what's going to be extraordinary in the next 6 to 7 to even just the next 10 years, man, that is just going to be an extraordinary country to be in. So much success. Keep at it. And everybody out there, where they are, north, south, east, west, any part of India, everybody deserves a shot at success. Become a champion of social selling. Thank you.